Alright, we're back with another lick of the week, and this is now a new month. We're in the month of August, but we're still continuing in the C melodic ideas. And I'm going to kind of keep going with the thread we had last week, maybe going in a few different directions with it, but I'm going to stay in this 5th fret area because, before I talk about how you can play the scale, from low to high positions, but for most of the C licks that I'm covering for right now, I'm not going to go any higher than, say, a G note on the 5th string, and all the licks are going to tend to follow the same pathway that we talked about before, starting on the mode, the 2nd mode of the C scale, which is starting with a D note. So we're right now in the middle of that pathway at the 5th fret area. And there's a ton of great licks right here, so that's why I want to spend some time with this area. Let's go back, and this will kind of pick up from what I talked about in the last video. We're going to start this lick with a C note on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. And then we're going to follow the typical melodic pattern, which is to find the next note of your idea on an open string if it's at all possible. So I'm going to play a scale, C, D, E, F, G. So that's a partial C scale starting on the root note at the 5th fret. So you have 3, 1, and these two notes are not open-closed pairings, but they're two notes out of that scale that we practiced. C, D, E, F, G, A. Now, not A, but E, I'm sorry. So you have C, D, E, F, G, E, D. Alright, so 3, 1, place these two scale notes, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5. So it's all forward roll based. So here's the roll pattern, 3, 1, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5. So you've turned really a normal scale into a nice sounding little C lick by starting with the root note but ending on a G note to tie you in, and the G serves kind of like a transition note to get you back to C. So you could play that lick over a 1-5-1 chord progression, or going from C back to G if you like, or you can just use it over a C as it is and not play any of this over G, but it will function quickly as a way to get from C to G back to C. It can also just be a C lick verbatim. Alright, now it's great to add chromatic notes in there, or notes, in this case, notes that are a half step away from notes that you normally find in the scale. And there's a ton of great ideas that I remember we talked on the last video, adding that D sharp note in the mix of the rolls to kind of give you some of that chromatic flavor. You can do the same thing with this lick. And this is the same D sharp note that we used in one of the licks from a previous video. So you're going to continue the pattern, 3, 1, 2, 1, 5, and when you get back to 2, drop that E note on the 5th fret of the 2nd string back to the 4th fret. So it's 3, 1, 2, 1, 5, switch, 2, 1, 5, C. And of course I'm resolving this to C because I want you to be able to hear and put finality to one of these ideas so that you can hear where it's actually going. So if you practice, playing a chord resolution at the end of a lick, it helps you understand what it works over. You can hear the tonality of the C scale over a C chord, and if you know that's where you're going to wind up, if that's the grand finale of your idea is to wind up back at home plate, then try to play a C chord somewhere to resolve it. Somewhere. Alright, so you see how much flavor you get by adding the one note, D sharp, that doesn't actually belong in the scale. Alright, if you take that idea a little further, you can actually add 2 chromatic notes to that. And this is an area of the neck that's really familiar with most stroke style players, and they don't really see it as a melodic pattern, because a lot of times they'll do inside out rolls, you know, scrugs, reverse rolls and things over these 2 notes. And this is an E note and a D sharp note, which are a half step apart, which is obviously dissonant. But if you use it in the context of a roll pattern, you know, then you get these typical licks that you hear a lot of players play in this area of the neck. But if you go a little further, then you can also add some melodic right and left hand patterns in with a position that you might think is more Scruggs based. So I'm going to start with that C note again, C, D, 3, 1, but instead of going right to the scale notes, here's my E and my F, I'm going to immediately drop down here to the E on the first string at 2, and the D sharp being on the second string at 4. So there, here's the 2 dissonant notes. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to release the first string at the end of the roll. Here's the first roll again, first lick. That's real majory sounding. And then I moved one note to give just a little darker flavor. And that was the D sharp note again. Now I'm going to use a D sharp note, but the E note's going to be located here. And then at the very end of the roll, just like on the other licks, I'm going to release the first string so that I get a D note. So it's 3, 1, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, resolution to C. So here's the first lick. That's being at the 5th and 3rd fret of the 1st and 2nd string. Then I move the 2nd string back 1/2 step and leave the 1st string open. And then I'm going to move the E note that I'm playing right here back here to this familiar Scruggs position and do the same roll pattern. 3, 1, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, C. So I get 3 distinct tongue-tied flavors from just altering 1 chromatic note into the mix, and then 2 chromatic, well, actually still 1 chromatic note, but I've moved the scale note to a different location. So I should have clarified that. There's not 2 chromatic notes here, but 2 distinct ways to apply them. So here's the first lick, second lick, third lick. Try those ideas out, and since there are so many cool ideas here in this one area of the neck, I'm going to include a second video for this week so that I can get a few more out, and then maybe we'll go right to the D melodic licks next week. So be on the lookout for the second video coming up very shortly. Thank you very much.